And so I wanted to start by sharing a little card today from the same lady who did our other cards on Etsy, Spirit Soul. She's great. So I surrender to the wisdom of my body. So I can get like without a glare. Well, I can't, but you can see. I surrender to the wisdom of my body. So this is a nice thing that we can keep as a theme for practice today. Go ahead and start like we usually do, make an inclined position, but you're right there by the sofa, or if you have props, you can always grab a bolster, and you're basically just making yourself a wedge. So in some way, either with your chair behind you, and I'll just show, I don't have my other regular block over here, but you basically are going to do a sideways block and an upright block. Make yourself a nice wedge. And then use your hands to lower yourself back. If you're going there on the sofa, you might just put a pillow behind your head. And then I would say, now usually when we're here, we will do diamond legs. We'll take our bolster, make it in a nice roll. However, I'm going to show this, but then if you're feeling that sciatic pain, we want to actually limit the amount of open leg or laterally rotated poses that you're doing. So usually we limit that by pulling that blanket underneath so the legs don't go too wide. However, another option, why not just open the feet wide, take them out a little in front of you to accommodate room for baby, and then just drop the knees towards each other. Okay, so just a little something different. I'm going to kind of rearrange until I'm happy how this looks. Pretty good. So in either of those positions, just find yourself. And okay, please forgive me, but I'm realizing that I am going to want that other block for all this demonstrating, so I'm going to be right back while you relax. Okay. So as you're here, this is a great time for centering, coming together with baby for your practice this morning. Notice how your body's feeling. We already had a brief discussion. So today we'll continue to open the calves. We're going to limit our lateral rotation of the legs and opening them very wide to reduce that sciatic pain, staying a little more parallel and doing some nice thigh bone medial rotation to open up that low back and sacrum area. We'll continue to do our nice breathing to create more and more space to be able to fill up your lungs above baby. And then our card for today was about surrender. I surrender to the wisdom of my body. And if you'd like, that could even be your theme for your practice today. This ties in perfectly because of what's going on in our country as well right now and around the world, of course. Not talking about coronavirus, but I think there's two sides of this, and it applies both to what we're all experiencing collectively as a country and as a world, and then also it applies to labor and birth. So there's an aspect of surrendering and completely letting go, letting things evolve, releasing control over what we cannot control. And then the other flip side of that is being empowered and being prepared and really taking control over whatever you can, whatever you can work on to bring and to the table, to have more tools, to be more prepared, to empower yourself with those things so you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. And then I think through contemplation and meditation and our breath, we can find that wisdom to know the difference, right? What are the things that we really need to do ourselves? And then when is it time to surrender? To let go. So thinking now, gearing this towards labor and birth, bringing all of these different tools, whether it's the breath, whether it's movements, whether it's props like a birthing ball, the people that you want to have in the room with you, your partner, your doula, anyone else who can assist you. And then when labor is beginning, and then later on, there's a time in labor when you really have to give over from the thinking mind into that primal mind. And I think for some people, it may be easier than others. But if you know that that's what needs to happen, you can start to prepare for it. There's a time when you no longer need to try to control and to analyze and to use the thinking mind to get through contractions or to get ready for the pushing phase. But instead, just allow your thoughts to dissipate and go deep into the body, into the breath, into maybe some sounds, some vocalizing, and just allow that part to take over, really. So surrendering to that, surrendering to the wisdom of your body, and also to knowing how so many before you. And then I just heard the other day that there's a baby born every 3 seconds. So taking heart and feeling that community of all the women all around you that are going to be in labor at the same time as you, women who have given birth since the dawn of time, who have all gone into that primal place and that surrendering place. And if you'd like, that can be your theme for today. We'll practice our tools. We'll think about surrendering into the different feelings of the postures. Let's go today into our Samavriti breath. So inhaling, we're going to do a same breath. So inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. And let's change things up. So inhale through the nose, and then try exhaling through the mouth. Let's go to 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. And inhale, 2, 3, 4. And let's go to 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. 5 in. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. Try it all through the nose. Inhale, 3, 4, 5 in. Exhale, 2, 3, 5 in. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. Exhale. If it doesn't feel stressful, go to 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. Inhale, 2, 4, 5, 6 in. Exhale. 5, 6, 1 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. Exhale. We're going to go back to 5. Try inhale and exhale through the mouth. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Down to 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 4. Inhale. 3, 4. Exhale. Go to 3. Let's go back to an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, 3, and inhale, 2, 3, and exhale, 2, and inhale. Back to inhale and exhale through nose to finish. Last one. Very good. Okay, take your time. Slowly bring some movements to fingers and toes. You're going to roll gently to the left side and use your arms to come up to sitting. Go ahead and arrange something underneath your hips. Just get a little higher off the ground. So your blanket or cushion or bolster is all fine. And then I'll just say this too, since you're in the comfort of your home, we are just doing head, neck, shoulders, and upper body. So you can also just sit on the sofa or a chair. And that would be a great way, because oftentimes we just sit in a cross-legged position. So this is not bad, but if you're feeling sciatic kind of feelings, you might want to limit this. You could throw your blocks, you could throw blankets, cushions, anything to kind of just limit the openness of the thigh bones. Good. Okay. So from here, let's start with head and neck. Let's go ear to shoulder a few times. Moving through, hands can be on the knees or down beside you. And then take that into a half circle. Loosen up the neck, the shoulders, breathing, and still elongating the spine, because we're keep trying to find more and more space above baby to really be able to take some nice full breaths. Pause and center, look to one side and look to the other. Really keep the back of the skull pulled back in alignment, or a little tuck up the chin is another way to say that. And then just finding your edge as you look around. Okay, a little bit different. Take your chin to the shoulder and then arc the chin to the ceiling and bring it to the other shoulder. So it's like we're doing the upper half of a circle with a lot of space in the back of the neck. You might feel your shoulder lift a little bit. That's okay, just not trying to do that on purpose. Last one. Good. Back to center. Chin pulls in and down, and then pull it back and lift up. So back, down, back, up. So it's a head nod, but we're trying to be really specific about pulling the skull back in alignment. with the spine and the back body. And last one. Good. Bring the arms forward. Cross that right arm in front. Use your other arm to gently pull. Slide the right shoulder down. Good. Take that left arm, slide it underneath the right elbow, and then as you're ready, lift, bend if you can, high above the chest and collarbones, and then once you've got a nice lock, then you can drop the elbows back down. If you want more, you can wrap the hands. Otherwise, this is fine, and if this is really tight, you can always grab something between the two hands. Take a breath here, and then let's add movement. You can always go up, down, side to side. And then finally come to stillness and drop gently that right shoulder down as though it can be even with the left. Unwind, stretch the arms open and back, open the chest. And then left arm in front, pull. Gently drop the left shoulder down. You can use your hand or elbow. And then just lengthen the arms out in front, crisscross at the elbow. See if you can bend that bottom arm, that right arm, to get a nice lock here. If you're able to do that, you might be able to continue to wrap. And then once the arms have gone up high to get the wrap, then they can drop back down. Notice the differences in the two sides if there are any. I know I can feel that this side is tighter for me, so send your breath between your shoulder blades and then add some movement. And remember, I don't mind if you even add spinal movement too, right? It doesn't have to just be the arms, but really anything that gets into the nooks and crannies. Really nice. And then find stillness. One more nice breath. And unwind, sweep the arms open and back. And release. Take your right hand to baby. And then left hand is going to drop down to that left knee as you twist to the right. Your hand just helps guide baby and your belly to continue to face forward so that you twist, but it's mostly in the upper back. Come back through center and just switch hands. Twist to the left. Your bottom arm is helping your upper body to open. You can really think wide across your collarbones and switch. Nice breath. So you get taller. You're still wringing out your spine. It's just mostly in the upper back. And then your head, neck, and eyes can even look around as well. Switch. Good. And now you've got a good feeling of what it's like to keep baby facing forward. So you're going to switch, but instead of the hand that's touching baby, you're going to reach up on the diagonal and see if you can get this really nice line. Your hand doesn't have to touch the knee either. I have short arms, so that's where my hand lands, but it'd be okay if your arm was beyond the knee. But just think of this really lovely, open, diagonal line and look out over your fingertips and then release. And then if you ever need a reminder, you can always bring hand back to the belly and then add it. Long line across the collarbones, eyes up and back, and release one more time. Switch. Good. And last one. Add the arm if you like. And release. Bring the hands together, create a little friction, a little heat. Open up the fingers, get into the webbing. Interlace, drop the elbows and shoulders, make a few figure eights, opening up the wrists. And then pause and reverse that. Really nice to ward off any carpal tunnel type feelings that sometimes happen. Good, and then release that and just shake it out. Nice for our lymphatic system, keeping us nice and healthy. Okay, take your time. We're gonna transition over into hands and knees. If you need anything under your knees, you can grab that blanket. And then you can just bring your blocks to the top of the mat and they'll be ready for you there. Okay, hands and knees. Remember, if you're ever feeling any wrist pain, you can always just come right up onto those blocks at any level. Otherwise, hands down, spread through the fingers. Can you find the tripod of the hand underneath index finger, pinky finger, and thumb? Good. Feel your best neutral spine, even though baby is hanging here in a hammock. Rock your body forward and back a few times. Open the wrists. Lift the tailbone towards the ceiling to maintain that neutral, which is actually going to spread an open pelvic floor. Good. Now take your knees a little wider, but for today, keep the legs parallel. And then allow your neutral spine to change as you go back a little further each time, closer and closer to child's pose. So if you needed to, you can always change your legs and go into the traditional child's pose, but if not, you're gonna just stay neutral today. I really like doing this in neutral or in parallel with the legs. And then over the course of this next one or two, you can melt back and stay back in that position in child's pose with a parallel leg. So you make space for baby. And then if you need to, open the thighs wider, no big deal. Even it'll still feel a little bit different than when we do the one where we go knees wide, toes touch. Perfectly acceptable one, but maybe just a little bit different as you're edging in towards parallel. Some nice release for the low back. Just a little different stretch. Come on out of that and let's go into the calf stretch here. So spread through the fingers again, keep them nice and strong. Soft elbows, strong shoulders, rock forward, tuck the toes, rock back. And then on this one, I've been transitioning my hands a little more forward to get that calf stretch. So rock forward and then press back into that back heel. You can stay there, you can move, you can do maybe a little pulsing there if that feels good. And then when you're ready, switch to the other leg, stretch it back. Notice where your shoulders are, make sure they're not edging up towards the ears, but that they keep a lot of good space there. Good, so just finishing up on that left leg. And then walk the hands back underneath you. Let's go into shoulders. Now this is kind of challenging to do when we're on hands and knees. We're gonna do protract, retract of the shoulders. So I want you to just keep a straight arm and push the floor away. Notice this is not a big movement. So all I've done is push the shoulder blades apart from one another on the back and then allow the shoulder blades to come closer together. Push them apart, allow them to come back. Keep going, and notice what I'm not doing is cat-cow yet. All I'm doing is working in the shoulder blades, protracting, retracting. Also, what I'm not doing is letting the shoulders shrug to the ears. So they're only gonna move in that one plane, opening apart and closing closer together. Now, feel neutral in between, which is really where you wanna live. And then let's go into cat-cow, and just remember that the cat-cow happens more in the upper body than it does in the lower body right now. So just really press the upper body and then allow your tail and head to lift and then reach up. And we're only limiting that because we don't really need to tone the abdominals anymore. So you can think of gently hugging baby in, but other than that, you don't need to be crunching or doing any abdominal toning here. So just let this be a nice release for the back. And then to finish it up, let's come off the wrist a little bit and just rock back to some nice full body circles. And just weaving into your thoughts that theme we talked about, right? So we're learning like this, body circles, cat-cow, all of these things are tools that you can bring in to the remainder of pregnancy, into labor, into birth. And then this can also be a real place of surrender that you just allow the body. You're practicing now all these different and interesting ways that the body can move so that when you can allow that surrender to happen and the primal brain to take over and allow the body just to move, allow your baby to help tell you the ways to move, create space for them. Good. Okay, and I'm just going to turn to face you here, but come on up to hands on the blocks. And let's move into short lunge. So step your right foot forward. Good. All right. From here, you just open that right foot out as much as you need to accommodate baby while still attempting to keep a pretty parallel gait here, stance. All right. From here, stack the back hip over the back knee, come to standing tall. Your back toes could be tucked or untucked. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Turn your palms to face me. And then exhale, pull the arms down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's add in the legs. So creep your front toes forward. And then as you inhale up, here we go. We're going to exhale, pull your body towards that front foot. And just try and keep that knee pretty much stacked over the ankle. No knee pain there as you come down. Inhale. And exhale. Stay here. Reach back behind you. Maybe your hands can fold to the sacrum. Only if you're feeling balanced. Interlace your fingers and lift your chest and heart. Your eye gaze can look up. That's, again, going to challenge the balance. So see where you need to go. And then release. Bring the hands down to the blocks. Walk that right block up next to the right hip. Your fingertips might even be down on it. Sweep the left arm up and go over. Touching that block if possible. If you don't go down that far, that's okay. Just get a nice big stretch all the way down. I love this one because for me, it goes all the way down my side, my hip, and my leg. Good. Unwind and hands to blocks. Gently step that right foot back and edge that left foot forward. Open out if you need to accommodate for space. Take a breath here, just kind of getting used to this position. And then as you're ready, all the way up. You might even already feel a little bit of a pull back with the front leg, a pull forward with the back leg, and that kind of just zips everything in place to help with balance. Inhale up. Turn the palms to me, inhale. Exhale, pull down. Inhale up. Exhale down, just focusing on the breath for these first couple ones. Inhale up. Nice long breath. You could also inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Good, and now let's add in the legs. So creep the front toes forward to give yourself a little more space. Inhale, big stretch up. Exhale, come forward. Open the front of that right hip. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Big, deep, full breath. Big, complete exhale. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. Hands reach back behind you. Maybe just to the sacrum, you can press back up tall. And then if you want more, interlace. And what if you interlace with the fingers over one, so it's got alternate grip or that grip that you're not used to. So try that if you like. Open chest and heart. Only if you want more. Eyes up, heart up, challenging the balance. If you need more chest stretch, bring the palms closer together or lift the hands higher. Slowly release. Grab that left block, place it by the left hip, right arm up, and over. Big stretch. Breathe deeply into that right side, all the way down the arm, under the armpit, the lats and ribs. Tight muscles of the abdominals and the skin. Breath. And release. Good. Go ahead and just bring the blocks forward. Bring your hands securely on them. Tuck your back toes. Lift that back knee and step forward. And then you're just going to rearrange yourself behind your blocks. And then open the feet as wide as your hips or baby distance. Soften the knees. Relax your upper body. So this is your forward fold. You may or may not need the blocks, but I just kind of let my hands rest on them. And then we're going to practice that difference between this real passive move and then the flat back half lift, which is quite a bit of work. So bend your knees as deeply as needed to really shoot the tailbone out behind you. And then press onto those blocks. Get really tall, out through the crown of the head. Right, and remember, see if you can feel the lift of the tailbone, which is the stretch and opening of the pelvic floor, creating more and more space. And then there is a little feeling of the shoulder blades coming a little close together on the back. Heart open, eye gaze down, reach out through the crown of the head. My legs are really working. Now relax into forward fold. Inhale, nice and tall. Flat back half lift. One more time. Feel those hamstrings working for you. Use the backs of the legs. Long, strong spine. And release to forward fold. This time, as you slowly round up, bring the hands to the thighs and come to standing. I'll just make a little adjustment here. Okay, Tadasana, mountain pose. Spread through the toes, maybe even lift them and wiggle them. Legs are hip distance or baby distance apart, toes forward, knees forward. Rock your weight into your heels a bit. Soften the knees. Feel a little engagement in the backs of the legs to help hold you up. Getting really tall. Breathe wide across your shoulders. You can do an arm circle or a shoulder circle if you like. To reach the fingertips down towards the floor. Scoop the back of the head in alignment with the spine. And give me just a few breaths in Tadasana, mountain pose. Good. Okay, so from mountain pose, we'll reach the arms up overhead, clasp a wrist, and dive. Gently pull that wrist over to the other side. Now you can stay really balanced over your feet and stretch over, or you can gently let the hips move outside of that foot and get more of that crescent shape. And then come on up, switch your grip. Dive over to the other side as you gently pull, open all the way down the side body, just like we were doing in that short lunge position. Come on up. One more time, inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Stay here, another breath. And unwind. Good. Take a moment, and then from here, inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Bend the knees, hands to thighs, and down, hands to blocks. forward fold. Okay, from here, step your right foot forward in between the blocks and then step your left foot pretty far back on the mat. Now, if you're really experiencing a lot of sciatic pain, you're going to want to limit your stance. So maybe just kind of notice how far you usually go, maybe bring it in a little bit. Just test that out. And then go ahead and keep that back leg turned out so the toes are pointed up toward that upper left corner of your mat. Stay strong in that right knee and then bend it over the right ankle. Bring your hands onto that thigh and all the way up to standing tall. Reach your arms forward and up to frame your face. And here we are in Warrior One. We've really been toying with adding a lot more breath, so let's do that again. As you elongate the front leg, bring the arms gently down. Of course, this depends on your balance, so stay focused, maybe on a point ahead of you that's not moving. Take an inhale, bend, 2, 3. As you lift the arms, exhale down and straighten. 2, 3, and bend, 2, 3. And when you straighten, don't lock the front knee, but bring it long. And inhale. Let's try exhaling through the mouth. And inhale. And exhale. One more. And up. And good. Stay here. Let's take that left arm up to the sky. Roll the torso open. Reach the right arm. You can make an adjustment if you need to. But all we've done is really open up the side body and open the hips into Warrior Two. So take a look out over those fingertips and bend the front knee. And then let's keep the breath going. We're going to stand tall, arms down, and then just back to Warrior Two. And inhale and exhale. So we're kind of incorporating in a squat and a lunge and strength of the legs. Good. And a powerful breath. You can pump the lungs and use the breath as much as you want here. Last one. Stay here. Hold. We're going to stay 3 more breath cycles. Relax what can be relaxed, stretch what can be stretched, hold strong with the rest. Flip your front palm, sweep that arm to the sky, just take a nice side bend. Come back down, look ahead of you. 2 more, inhale. Back arm drapes down the leg. And last one. Good, bring the hand down to the thigh. Turn your hips back towards your blocks. As you come down, hands to thigh, hands to blocks, but we're not gonna change quite yet. Readjust as you step that back foot to parallel. So we're getting ready for pyramid pose. So what you're gonna wanna do is take your front leg, open it maybe even as wide as your mat. And then your back leg can go as wide as the mat. It can also be shorter than that. It doesn't have to be not quite that wide, right? So test it out. I'm doing that right now. It feels pretty good. Really take the toes forward, knees forward for this. Good. So stay there. I'm just going to adjust this angle again. So here you are in a really nice, wide parallel. So this is excellent for opening up that low back and not having any lateral rotation. It doesn't challenge the that sciatic compression. So you can have your blocks. Go ahead and bring them inside that front foot. Notice if your knees are locked and soften them. And then this is really a big flat back if possible. Maybe experiment with bending the front knee a little, releasing that tailbone behind you. Just kind of test this out, see how it feels. You can bend and straighten if you want, and you can stay bent in the front leg as well. Now this can be all there is, which is quite a lot, and a lot of good strength in the upper body. The upper body, it's like we're holding a plank. But if you want to try something different, you can take this into a type of down dog almost. So you can reach the blocks out, you can walk them farther out in front of you, still reach the tailbone back, but now you're reaching the arms forward and slowly dropping that head. So you can kind of feel how the front body becomes like down dog, a nice slope, a nice V shape here. So try that if you like, see how it treats you. Give me another breath. And then slowly walk the blocks back underneath your shoulders. Creep your front foot back in a little closer to the midline, back foot as well, and then slowly just drop to that back knee. Good. Okay, bring the right leg back to meet it. Okay, let's grab a block, place it between the thighs. So we're going to stay strong here in the middle of our practice, and let's try some chaturanga. So you're really going to stay strong in the arms. Pull the body forward. Your back toes could be on the mat. They might be lifted. They could be down. Squeezing that block is what's most important. Now really root the tops of your arm bones into the joint there and feel the muscles as you lean forward. Feel the muscles under your armpits turn on. So if you want to do traditional chaturanga, then you're really pulling the elbows in towards your ribs. Can you scoop the back of the head in alignment and tuck the chin? Come down a few inches and try to keep the elbows near the ribs. Push back up. What's great about this is either your block or at this point, baby may touch the mat. That's as far as you need to go, which is really good because you don't actually need to go beyond 90 degrees in the elbows. Go again, inhale down, exhale up. Give me 2 more. Inhale down. See if you can keep the head in alignment and don't let the chin jut out. After that last one, rest back. You can remove the block and release into a child's pose if that feels good. Just have a nice resting pose there. Breathing. So lots of strength for the arms. And in that one, you're going to feel that feeling of hugging baby in too. So it gets your ab work, as much ab work as you need. You get in and things like that. Good. Okay. So one more time, let's do a little strength and then one more relaxing type pose. So grab that block for between the thighs again for our downward facing dog. All right. Make the tripod of the hands, root the upper arms into the shoulder joint, tuck the toes, lift the hips away from your hands, relax the head. Shoot the tailbone to the sky, hold here, give me 5 cycles of breath. This is all up to you on how long this is, how long you can keep your breath. Try for nice long cycles. Remember, part of our practice is coming up against discomfort. So when we encounter that in everyday life, and when you encounter that during labor, it's not unfamiliar. And as you come up against discomfort, and as you come up against what you feel is your edge, and it is your edge at that moment, the edge moves back. And then you come up to the edge, and you think that's all you got, and then the edge moves back. There's so much more power there than we even know. Whenever that is complete, melt your body down. And then let's go into a different resting pose, bringing the blocks either to touch or a little bit apart. We're going to do that one that's kind of in between down dog and child's pose, and you step up onto the blocks. Right, sometimes called puppy dog pose. And let's do it in a passive way. So take your hands out far, but then lower to the elbows. Now you could kind of still work here with the arms in alignment, hands, elbows, shoulders, or you could make it very restful and just fold the arms and fold the head. What's really most important here is getting your hips up high. We're getting this inverted posture. And as you get to where you are now, farther along in your pregnancy, this is a great place to hang out so that baby goes head down and gets in the optimal birthing position. So hang here for another few rounds of breath. And then as you're ready, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, coming up. And then to come out of this, you just step back, one knee and then the other knee. And then go ahead and arrange the blocks back at the front. We need to do our other side of our warriors here. So for this one, go ahead and step that left foot forward between your blocks. And I'm just gonna switch ends here, so I'll be facing you. When you're ready, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, spiral that heel down so the toes are reaching up to that upper corner of your mat. Take another breath or two here. Just adjusting to this other side. If you ever need to, you can make a wider stance, like a bigger parallel. And then the back leg is turned out on this one. Hands to thigh, come on up. Bring the arms up to the ceiling. And then let's change up the breath here, just for something different. Turn your palms to face in front of you and then slide them down by your chest. So as though we're gonna push something away, bend that front knee and then push away as you lengthen. And remember, you're gonna straighten the front leg but not lock it out. Exhale. Go ahead and make a strong exhale through the mouth. Now, you don't have to go exactly with me. You could go a little bit faster or slower. But I want you to really imagine that you are pushing that wall or something heavy out away from you. Really fill up the lungs. Always monitor. Make sure you don't feel lightheaded. If you do, just stop. Step the feet together. Find your balance or come to the mat. 2 more. And relax for a moment. Right arm reaching up and just spiral the upper body and the hips open and bend that front leg. Make any adjustments you might need to as we move into warrior 2. Arms reach out from a T shape from the shoulders and then gaze over the front fingertips. So inhale, bend the front knee and drop the arms. Exhale out, warrior 2. Find this strength in the movement, in the grounding of the legs, in the breath. Warrior 2 is perfect as you're looking out of those fingertips for focus, for fearlessness, for being courageous. 3 more. Last one, stay there. Good, stay where you are. Flip the front palm and sweep upward for a little side bend and come back. 2 more. This is our reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Good, and release the arms. Turn your torso back to facing that front foot. Lower down to the thigh and to the blocks, and let's open up to pyramid pose. So you're turning that back foot forward, toes forward, knees forward, bring the blocks on the inside of that front foot and walk it to the edge of the mat. So both feet can be as wide as your mat. When we start to make, we can already see this pyramid shape. And now this may be where you want to stay. So let's stay here for a little bit and we'll add on that down dog shape in a moment. Maybe bend and stretch the front leg a few times. Maybe you can notice if your back is rounded versus extending and really sending that tailbone and sits bones straight back behind you. It's kind of tempting to want to push off the hips to one side, but really zip them together towards the midline and stay in this parallel corridor of your mat. Now, only if you want to try that other piece, you can walk the blocks a little more forward and then really extend from tail out through the crown of the head, reach out through the hands and create almost like a down dog position. It's the pyramid pose. And this is an excellent one, big, wide, parallel, and a chance to really spread and open across the sacrum and the low back. Take your time, walk the blocks back if you moved on. From here, open the blocks out, creep the front foot back into the midline. You could do the same for the back leg as well. And then you're going to lift that back heel and step the foot forward. Arrange yourself behind your blocks. Relax, over and forward fold, and let's remember flat back, half lift, so bend the knees as deeply as possible. It should feel very familiar. We were just doing this in pyramid, but with a wide stance. Relax into forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, send the tailbone back behind you. Flat back, half lift. Release to forward fold. Slowly round up, hands to thighs. And up tall. Tadasana, just stay here, feeling grounded first. A lot of fresh oxygen. We've been pumping through the system, so try not to be too lightheaded. Just take your time. Okay, from here, let's go over to the wall, which I'm realizing I have very little wall space, but I have just enough to do one round of our mock contractions. So I'm going to be coming right here. I think I'll still be in the screen. If you have a wall, find the wall. If you don't have a wall around you, another thing you can do is just chair pose, right? You could put that block between the thighs and you could find your chair pose. But if you have the block, then we'll practice our mock contractions. So bring the block between the thighs, walk the body and the back down the wall. So here we are, and I'm going to be watching the clock. We've got 60 seconds at the length of a contraction, and this is where you get to pull out the tools in your toolbox. So maybe there's some rubbing the thighs. I like fluttering lips, vocalization, really going into the lower register of the voice. You can feel that if you start getting really high and that there's tension there, right? So that's something you can talk to your partner and other people who might be in labor with you to say, you start noticing my voice is getting really high and really tight. Help me to go back down into that lower register. Let that primal kind of vocalization come out. Right? Maybe you feel like you go inward here, maybe you feel like you go outward, but you try some tools from the toolbox. And now you've made it, so come on up. Good. And now let's go into our calf stretch and what we sometimes call screaming toe or toe stretch. Okay, so if you want to use, you've got options. You can go up against the wall with your block, and then one thing we've done in class lately that I like, you can take a blanket or a mat or anything really, block, but I kind of like the squishiness of the blanket or mat. And then you just put your foot over that. If you're able, keep your heel down. And then kind of come to the edge of that so that you can really keep your hips facing forward. You can even bring your hands on your hips to help you. And then to get more, you just walk that back leg a little more forward. Okay, so keep doing that. And maybe they come even with each other. And if you need more, maybe that other one walks in front. Ooh, there's a calf stretch. All right, so you are choosing which one is good for you. And you may be way back here. That's okay. Just see where you are. It all depends on what you've got under your foot and how everything is treating you that day. So no worries. And then step back, and just for a little something different, rotate your heel out a little and bend the front knee instead. Rotate the heel back to that kind of neutral parallel. Bend a few times. And then rotate the heel in towards you and bend a few times. Every time you bend, your knee's going out over your toes. But now just move through that a couple times. So really, you could just think of it as a rainbow, just trying to get a little bit different area of the calf and ankle. So just move through that. And then as you're ready, we'll try the other side. So you're going to want to come to the other end of your object. Try and keep your heel down, ball of the foot and toes over that object. Hands to hips, keep the hips facing forward. If you need more, you walk the other foot forward. Couple deep breaths here. See if you can relax your toes. Good. If you've moved that other foot forward, bring it back behind you so that you can start changing the front heel a little bit. So just instead of bending, instead of keeping the leg straight, bend the front knee. And then angle the heel out a little bit. And out a little bit. Just kind of think of a little rainbow shape that the heel is tracing. Keep the knee going out over the toes as best you can. So we just get all the little different angles of the ankle. Good. Okay, as that feels complete, release that. And then let's go into, oh, you know what? Let's do on our way down. Let's bring blocks, or you can also do this with a stool or chair, okay? You don't, or even the sofa, right? It's kind of like chair pose, but we're gonna go down to the squat. So use something behind you, a stool, blocks, what have you. You can bring the arms to the knees or forward. Make sure you feel nice and safe as you go down, 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 and alight onto your block. And then you can keep your legs here in a parallel just for good practice. And if that's not comfortable at all, you can ankle open more. But just remember in labor that bringing the legs into the more medial or parallel spot actually opens the birth canal instead of here, which actually decreases that opening, because these are your femurs, your leg bones, and they actually are going to close that off. And then when we do this, they open out. So it's just nice practice. And then you're going to visualize, let's do a round of pelvic floor toning. You could close your eyes if you like. Relax your arms. Bring your awareness down to the level of your pelvis. As though you're looking down inside yourself, maybe you can see 4 bony landmarks. In the front, the pubic bone, on the sides, sitting bones, and the tailbone. And then kind of all the way up to the hip bone. It's like a bowl. You're looking down into this pelvic bowl, all filled with very interesting, springy muscle tissue that you could visualize as a trampoline or as a jellyfish. So go ahead and contract, pull in on the pelvic floor, in and up, sex organs, anus, pelvic floor. And let's hold here for a count of 10 while you breathe easefully, naturally. and then slowly release. And just kind of take notice for yourself. Were you able to relax the core muscles? Did they want to help? You know, that's really natural, but just see if you can go into the pelvic floor. Let's do that one more time. Pull in and up, and try and maintain that for this whole 10 seconds. If you have to let go, and then come back again. And if you haven't checked out the book, The Birth Partners, The Birth Partner, The Labor Partner, I think it's The Birth Partner, and I think it's Patty Simpkin. Go ahead and relax. She really outlines how to do perineum stretching with your partner, and I would just highly recommend that based on what I have heard back from a lot of my friends and girlfriends and clients who have given birth, that they wish they had done more of the perineum massage or enlisted their partners to help them do that. So maybe check into that. This is a good time as you are in the last few weeks of pregnancy. Let's try just a few more where we do blink, so it's almost the exact opposite. So pulling in and up, and release, and blink, release, and blink, release, and blink. Good, keep going. Remember how important it is to be able to hold and have a strong pelvic floor, but also to be able to release it fully. Got to be able to totally let go as well. And 3, release, and 2, release, and 1, and totally relax. Okay, take your time transitioning off of the blocks, and we're going to go into that toe stretch, which is great for strengthening, finding our edge, for strengthening our tolerance, and also great calf stretch as well. So you're going to come to the hands, tuck your toes behind you, and even try to get that pinky toe under there as well if it's trying to escape. And then you sit back. The legs can be as wide as needed, but I try to keep them pretty close to hip distance there. And then this may be it, and that is fine. So take a big, nice stretch and a breath. I'm going to look at the clock here, and then if you want more, you start walking yourself back to putting more and more weight onto the toes and feet. So if you do come all the way up, you can see how your spine aligns all the way over the toe. So there's a lot more weight. So I encourage you, if this gets to be too much, just ease yourself back down a little and come off, but without untucking the toe. So really try to maintain that position the whole time. And then here we are, it's another place, just like our mock contractions, to use our tools, use anything you need to. Right? Could be anything that you're learning that is helpful, because you don't know what you're going to need at the time as you shift into different stages of labor, but you'll have so many things to choose from. Come on out. Excellent, excellent work. I like to just stretch over the tops of the toes a little bit to release. You can do that if you like. And our time is just flying by, so it's already time to set up for a final Shavasana. Remember that you can always go back to the position you were in at the very beginning. A wedge is always a nice option for relaxing. And then the other thing we like to do is to take some sort of block or cushion near the bottom of your mat, place some pillows or bolster, and that high part is actually where your right foot is going to go. So you're going to lay on your left side. Feel free to make any kind of a pillow that you might like for your head. Okay. And then you lie on the left side. Shift your body forward so that you don't have to be stacked in your hips. You can actually be off of that bottom hip. That's pretty nice. And as you come down, the knee is on the low slope, the foot is on the high slope, and you're relaxing here. And then, of course, if you want to do this, you can do this when you're hanging out at night, watching TV, what have you. Anything that, as you get beyond, 30 weeks and 35 weeks, it's really nice to not sit back into yourself as though, on a sofa or a recliner, hanging out like this. doesn't give baby any space there, and probably is going to bring some discomfort to your back. So if you can just even if you're not doing this fancy kind of setup, you can lay on the floor, you can roll on your side on the couch, but find some other comfort in a way that baby gets some space, especially if they still need to go head down, and we want to be able to keep them in that optimal position. This is nice though, especially for the low back and any sciatic kind of pain. It helps to just drop that femur head into its home in the hip joint and opening that up. So it feels really nice. This is a great way to fall asleep or hang out in the morning as you're resting. And then as you're here, take your time to tune into your breath. Tune into the way your body feels. Thanking yourself for making time to be here to do this practice today. And thanking your baby for joining you. What a wonderful thing to start so early with making really healthy habits. Coming back to our theme, which was surrendering. I surrender to the wisdom of my body. I am very into the power of our thoughts and our words and our intentions. And so if you want these ways to be revealed to you, ways that you can surrender to the wisdom of your body, if you want that to be able to happen, if you desire that, then you can ask for it. And you're asking yourself, you're asking your highest self, you're asking what you perceive to be connected to as your source. And it will be given to you. So remember to stay open, because it will be given to you, but we're not quite sure in what way. So be open to the many different ways that this wisdom will be revealed to you. And trust that it will be there for you when it's needed, if you surrender to it. These last few moments, bring some small movements to the body, fingers and toes. Get ready to come up to a seated position to close. If the props are in your way, you can move them. Otherwise, just lengthen your top leg and use your arms to press yourself up to sitting. Remember, that's a great habit to be in. It's using your arms instead of your abs. Sit comfortably, bringing a hand to the heart, hand to baby. Again, thanking yourself and your baby for this practice. And I thank you so much for being here. Let's take one Om together so you feel this vibration under your hands. Inhale. Both hands to the heart. My highest self bows to your highest self in gratitude. Namaste.
Namaste.